Imagine having the world at your feet. You've just had your best season ever. Ballon d'Or, cover star coveted by the biggest sponsors in the world, and the nightmare of every defender.
Ojo Ronaldo!
But just before the most important match of your life, everything's at risk of falling apart. In a single minute. What happened? To fully understand the mystery of Ronaldo, we need to start from the beginning. How O Fenomeno became and was recognized by the whole world as the greatest center forward in history. Born in Rio de Janeiro in 1976, Ronaldo Luís Nazário de Lima grew up in a suburb of the city called Bento Ribeiro with his two brothers. After his parents' separation at the age of 11, Ronaldo dropped out of school to pursue a career in football. During this time, he joined the local futsal team, Valkyrie, where he began to make a name for himself thanks to his extraordinary skills, and news of his talent quickly spread in the region. Ronaldo credited futsal with the development of his abilities and considered it his first love. His true breakthrough in traditional football came with São Cristóvão, where he scored a hat trick in his debut match. Not bad for a young boy. He's the best forward I've ever seen. No one had his speed of execution. Ronaldo's my hero. I always liked Zidane, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo, but Ronaldo is the best of them all. Lionel Messi. Extraordinary form and his goal-scoring talent that led him to his second participation in the World Cup in 1998. While he'd just been a simple spectator 4 years earlier, this time he would be the key man, and the hopes and dreams of a nation would all be on his shoulders. Nike focused the entire launch campaign on the star from Bento Ribeiro, and the airport advertisement became an absolute cult, pushing the song Mas Que Nada to the top of all the charts. The clip also featured a cameo appearance by Eric Cantona, the true symbol of Nike commercials, starring in both the USA 94 and the European Championship in 96, with the legendary Cantona Colassio clip that closed the iconic challenge against demons inside an amphitheater, similar to the Colosseum. The Brazilian national team, led by coach Mario Zagallo, arrived in France in 1998 as the absolute favorites. They immediately stamped their authority on the tournament with victories against both Scotland and Morocco, followed by a surprising defeat against Norway. Despite this, Brazil finished first in their group, qualifying for the knockout stage. In this phase, they easily defeated Chile, another South American team, with a clear 4-1 victory. Next, a hard-fought 3-2 win against Denmark in the quarterfinals brought them to the semifinals against the Netherlands. After a 1-1 draw, the match went to a penalty shootout, which was won by the Brazilians, securing them a place in the final to try and defend their World Cup title. The final would be a match against France, the host country, at the Stade de France in Saint-Denis. And this is where everything collapses. Ronaldo played always the match as a starter, and beside him, Coach Zagallo prefers Bebeto over Edmundo. Behind them, the attacking midfielder is always Rivaldo. Ronnie remains a spectacle to admire. Watching him satisfies the eyes of every football lover, but something in him seems to be cracking. Ronaldo had already undergone knee surgery during his time at PSV and had ankle problems. He'd scored 4 goals in 6 matches so far in the World Cup. Even without his magical moves, Ronaldo is still decisive. In the final, the pressure around him rises. Every day, Brazil must win, and Ronaldo must shine. There are no plan Bs. I saw a lot of people in Ronaldo's room from the window. I heard the word dead shouted many times. There was a crazy uproar. Paul Chevalier, manager of the Brazil team's hotel. The day of the final has arrived. 72 minutes before the kickoff of the most awaited match, FIFA gives Brazil an ultimatum. They request the official lineup for the last time. They can wait no longer. The world's football governing body releases the Brazilian team's lineup to 1 million people. Edmundo plays, Ronaldo isn't there. Everyone is left astonished. I was the first to see it. We were in rooms separated only by a door. I got up from the table after lunch to go to the bathroom. At that moment, through the door, I saw Ronaldo on the bed having convulsions. He was lying next to Robert Carlos, who was listening to music with his headphones on, unaware of anything. Ronaldo was purple with foam in his mouth, and his body kept convulsing. Edmundo and midfielder Cesar Sampaio managed to help him. They removed Ronaldo's tongue from his throat to help him breathe, effectively saving his life. The doctors arrived immediately after being called by his teammates. Ronaldo said he didn't remember how it happened, but he remembered having convulsions for about 30 seconds, and then he remained unconscious for 4 minutes. When I woke up, no one wanted to tell me what had happened. I was the only one who didn't know anything. Then Leonardo came to call me and took me to the hotel garden. We talked a bit, he explained the situation, and he told me it would be better for me not to play. Ronaldo. Ronaldo was then urgently taken to De Lila Clinic in Paris for analysis and followed the pre-match preparations lying on a hospital bed. Meanwhile, Zagallo announced the official lineup without him and also gave a motivational speech to the team, citing the case of Pelé in the 1962 World Cup when the Black Pearl got injured and Amarildo, his substitute, brought the World Championship to Brazil. Then, without warning, Ronaldo appears. Ronaldo arrived suddenly with a smile on his face saying, "Hey, where's my stuff? I want to play." Zagallo, Zico, and the national team doctor, Lito Toledo, gathered in a corner of the dressing room. At some point, the manager waved to me from afar, letting me know I wouldn't be playing. Edmundo. The rest is history. All cameras were on Ronaldo, but unfortunately he never managed to be decisive, wandering around the field, dawdling from one side to the other, and was just a spectator of his Brazil's defeat. 2 goals from Zidane and a late goal from Petit gave the French their first World Cup in history. When the doctors and the manager came to the room, Ronaldo was feeling much better compared to a few moments before. They didn't see him having convulsions, and that's why they let him play. Edmundo. Both the Brazilian team doctors and the French doctors who assisted him in the hospital claimed epilepsy as the cause of the convulsions, but 14 years later, Bruno Caru, the president of the Italian Cardiology Society, re-examined the documentation from that time, and the diagnosis is truly sensational. According to him, on the afternoon of the World Cup final, Ronaldo had a cardiac arrest, not an epileptic seizure. Ronaldo laid down on the bed to watch Formula One, and by bending his head unnaturally for a long time, he ended up compressing his carotid artery, a small organ responsible for regulating heart rate. He had a seizure as a result of this. Bruno Caru. The results of the electrocardiogram performed on the phenomenon at the hospital support this thesis. After the seizure was over, the analysis revealed that his heart rate was 18 beats per minute. That means at the time of the malaise, there was almost no cardiac activity. Keeping the epileptic seizure as the triggering cause, the doctors administered Gardinol, a strong sedative used for epilepsy, but disastrous for heart problems, to Ronaldo. The cloud of doubt surrounding this event held an entire country hostage for years. In Brazil, no one could explain that disastrous match. Suspicions of possible pressure from Nike to make him play also spread due to Edmundo's statements. He always claimed that Nike representatives were very present in the Brazil team's retreat, and that in his opinion, they forced Ronaldo to play. Also because the final represented a real clash between the Titans, with Zidane the symbol and testimonial of Adidas, and Ronaldo Nike's golden boy. Absurdly, in 2001, the issue even reached the Brazilian parliament. No one, neither the doctors nor the sponsor, forced me to take the field. I knew I had been unwell, and the doctors told me, "It's better if you don't play." But I felt fine, and I imposed my will. Edmundo says I played under pressure from Nike. Edmundo is a liar. Ronaldo. The issue ended up with no clear resolution. No evidence emerged to confirm Edmundo's version and the suspicions of half of Brazil. There's no reason to doubt Ronaldo's sincerity. But besides being the worst match of the phenomenon ever seen on a football field, there's only one other certainty. The doctor who allowed Ronaldo to play that evening was never able to work again. But wait, did you know that Ronaldinho spent his 40th birthday in prison? Watch this video to know the whole story.